Ik-oNkaar सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। धन धन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज, धन गुरु गोबिंद सिंह साहब सच्चे पातशाह। कमाले करामात कायम करीम, रजा बख्श राज़क रेहा को रहीम। अमा बख्शो बख्शन देओ दस्तगीर, रजा बख्श रोजी देहो दिल पजीर। शहनशाह खूबी देहो रहनमू, के बेगूनो बेचूनो चूबे नमू। न साजो न बाजो न फौजो न फर्श, खुदावंद बख्शन दे हुए शर्श। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। We are visiting the bani of the Anand, composed by Guru Amar Das at Govindwal. This is the bani which is directly related to the inner joy. For seeking happiness in this world, we manage our external environment. We try and do what is best possible. For finding our Anand within us, we have to manage our inner environment. This environment is dependent on the presence of a guru in our lives. Because Anand is only available to those people who have the ability to go beyond the ego. Those who live within the ego migrate between happiness and sorrow. They traverse both possibilities. Because the ego lives in a world where duality exists. There is no absolute. Where the energy of the creator is divided in a balance of two. And that is how creation exists. If there is only an absolute and there is no opposite, then there is only one creator. Nothing else will exist. So the maya of creation is the division of this energy of the creator into two opposite polarities. And these polarities is what makes the world exist. North, south, east, west. Good, bad. Rich, poor. Right, wrong. Fast, slow. High, low. All these are the dualities in which the world is at play. And one of them depends on the other. What is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong, depends on the other. What is right is defined by that which is not wrong. What is good is defined by that which is not bad. These are the absolute colors of life, white and black. So the duality which we live in this world, the dual world, is where happiness and sorrow pass by us on a daily basis. And this is the instability, which is the worrying aspect of life. This makes the environment unstable because they all live together. They all live one after the other. And there is change inbuilt into the environment. One thing which is certain about the creation is that it is going to change, constantly change. That is a mandatory requirement. The Anand Guru Amar Das talks about is the absolute Anand, meaning it does not need the other for it to be defined. It doesn't need any other opposite. It is by itself complete. That means it is unconditional. The only condition which defines Anand is that Guru opens the door for this experience. And Guru opens the door to those who transcend the ego. And the transcending of the ego, going beyond the ego mind, going beyond the thinking mind, going beyond the moving mind, is not the ability of the individual involved. It is the kirpa and Gur Prasad of the Guru. Without the Guru, this mind can't be transcended. The Karam world, so to say, is the ego world, where whatever we do gets recorded, because we are the doer. And as it is recorded, we have to pay the price for it. पुन्नी पापी आखण ना है, कर कर करना लिख ले जाओ, आपे बीज आपे ही खाओ, नानक हुक्मी आवो जाओ. So one serious aspect of this environment which we live in is that first, it doesn't live in absolutes. Second thing is that it has desire. Because it is seeking, there is an inbuilt desire in the ego world, in the ego mind, in the moving mind. It is seeking happiness. And that leads to desire. It is called Trishna. And the desire is the reason for pain and sorrow. If I don't desire anything, if I don't want anything, if I have no needs, then I am absolutely free. But there is no one in this physical world who is devoid of desire. Here, to exist in the physical world, desire is a mandatory requirement. Needs and desire, the balance between these two will give us the difference between stress and relaxed mind. That mind which lives only in the need-based environment, I take only what I need, will be least stressed. That mind which is heavily built on desire, what I want, I want. It's not a need-based environment. That will be highly stressed. If that desire is far away from the present condition of the person. Somebody has $1 million in his bank and he wants an object for $500,000. That's achievable. So the stress is not there. But then desire environment is not dictated by my ownership. It's just a hunger. It's a search for happiness without looking at my present paradigm. It's an unreal world, imaginary world, where I want something and I feel I will be happy with it. I can get it. If I have the abilities, the capability, and my skills are not far away from what my desires are, then the stress will be not very high. But if the skills are skill set or knowledge set or the environment is very different from what I'm seeking, then it will be highly stressed. Like a person running after a train and always missing it constantly. Most of us have this dream, this life pattern, where we keep missing our goals again and again. There the stress will be higher. There then aberrations of the mind will start, manipulation, suppression, all kinds of different environments will exist. Guru Amar Das is the third Nanak, and the Bani of Anand is sung in Raamkalee rag, which is a favorite rag of the yogis. Anand also exists in the Hindu mythology, and a very nice saying from there is the Sat Chit Anand. That which is Sat is your Chit, is the Man, and that is the Anand. The trick here in this life is to transcend the ego. It's not what the ego owns, what the expanse of the ego is, what the conditioned mind, it operates in which environment, it doesn't matter. It may be a very negative environment. But if the individual has the ability to transcend, it may be a poor environment, it may be a rich environment, it may be a good environment or a bad environment. It is immaterial, because once we have transcended the ego, everything which comes with the ego is gone. A very nice saying of Bhagat Trilochan. He's telling his wife, Dukrit Sukrit Tharo Karamri. Good and bad are your actions, our actions. When we live our actions, we get our deeds. But he explains in 4 or 5 different examples. He talks about Shiv. He tells us that Shiv forever had a mark on his head. Talks about Krishna and how pained he was. Talks about Ram and how he had to suffer separation from his wife. So he was given examples of those who are considered devtas also went through this pain of life. So don't imagine that we will be less pained in any way, because these are the exalted people. And then in the end of that Shabad he says, that is why I do not live and seek this happiness and sorrow environment. I do not want it. I live in the Naam environment. Japo Nama. That is why I live in Naam. Naam transcends the conditioned mind. It transcends happiness and sorrow. And it is the environment of the man where there is no ego, where there is no I. And I don't exist. Home naame naal virodh hai. Doye na bas ek thaai. A small story related to this Bani of Anand has to do with a yogi coming to Guru Sahib and asking for salvation, asking for nirvana. And Maharaj tells him, you have one more life to live. You cannot get your freedom yet. When you are in your next life, you come to me. The story says that this yogi left his body and took birth as the grandson of Guru Amar Das. And this grandson was then called Anand. And on the birth of the grandson, this Bani was composed, it was sung. It's just a story. The Bani is defining our inner environment, our mind, our man. The real story of our lives is played out in our man. That's where we play this game of this life. And that is what will define whether we will know or not know what life is. But certainly, in a very nice way, Guru Sahib has explained and even based the definition of a guru on the basis of Naam, of Anand. When he says, that person whom I meet and I find Anand, he is the Guru. Jis miliye man hoye Anand. When meeting that person, I transcend my ego. I transcend all my pain, sorrow, my errors, my mistakes. Jis miliye man hoye Anand, so satgur kahiye. He defines Satguru on the basis of the ability to give Anand. Somebody who can make me transcend my ego. It's not an easy task to transcend your ego or our ego. We are defined by our ego. Everything we know about life is our ego. So transcending the ego is like meeting our own death. Dying to whatever we are. Marjivada is the word used in 6 scriptures. And it comes even in historical narrations of gurus and Sikhs. This concept of Marjivada comes. Whoever dies to the commandment of the Guru transcends the ego. That is literal as well as played out in the mind, in the psychology of the mind. We do go beyond our ego even when we live our daily lives. Whenever we are absorbed in some beautiful music and we forget ourselves, whenever we do something which gives us joy and we are so absorbed in it that our stresses go away, our thoughts go away, and we find peace. The thoughtless mind is the mind where the ego is gone. The thinking mind is the ego mind. All our thoughts come from our ego. I'm doing a session on dhyan on the 21st. One of the ways of transcending the ego is watching the mind, watching the thoughts. Watching them, in a way, makes us stop energizing our mind. What energizes the mind is the key question. We energize our mind. Our thoughts come from our own man, and we don't realize that. They get triggered by conditioning. I'm a photographer, so I'm conditioned to seeing nice environments and getting absorbed by them and taking them in my camera. This is the conditioning of a photographer. So whenever he sees an image, it quickly comes and translates. It quickly translates itself into action. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. What the ego mind does and how it is trained has to do with the ego. Ego is a journey which is not complete in itself. It's a journey where we seek completeness, but we never find it in the ego. The creator will never meet I, because either the creator is or either I am. How me na me naal virodh hai, doy na bas ek thaai. So when I transcend the ego, then there is the creator. Bhagat Kabir in one of his shabad says, Tu karta, tu hua, mujh mein raha na hu. By keep saying you are, I have gone beyond the me. So my pain and sorrow are baggage of the I. The ego does everything. The ego lives the karam world. Who is doing the action? I am doing. If there is no I, there is no action. If there is no action, there is no record of that action, then there is no repercussions of that action. There has to be a doer for somebody to say, I did this, and he will pay the price for it. Punni papi akhad nahe, kar karna likh le jao. Ape beej, ape hi khao. Nanak hukmi aavo jao. For wandering this world, I have to exist. If I am not, there is no wandering, there is no pain, there is no karam. The karam world dies with the ego world. So when we are looking at dhyan as an option of the mind, we must know what is the source of the man, where are the thoughts coming from. If I watch my thoughts, then the thoughts will drop because I energize the thoughts unconsciously. So I have seen a picture I like and it triggers a thought and I catch that thought and that becomes me. So I am always constantly redefining me in my thoughts. So I also is changing. Heraclitus, a Greek astrologer, a philosopher, he says man can never enter the same river twice, for it's the changing river. And the person is also changing. Everything in this environment, in this world is changing. Nothing is constant. That is why there is a story in the Greek mythology which talks about happiness and sorrow being very good friends, but they fought very badly. This is life, the duality of life. Those who are very close will fight very hard. Hatred and love are two sides of the same coin. They loved so intensely and then they fought very intensely. So the story is that they fought and then they went to God and then God tied their feet together. So if we are living with happiness, sorrow is not far away. As it says in the fable, it says, if you are with happiness, then sorrow is in the sofa next to it. something like that. So the paradigm of the world where we live is the external environment where we seek happiness. We do everything. We want to be happy. I want a job which is stable. I want to educate myself. I want to look after my kids. That is all defined by my seeking happiness. But we seek unconditional happiness. We do not seek the changing happiness. We don't seek happiness which will become sorrow. So there is the conflict. The mind is constantly seeking happiness forever. And it gets happiness in spurts, in small trailers of life we get happiness. We live through the happiness, we never say, what is the reason I am happy? Because the happiness is such an intoxicating mistress. It takes my life's energy and I flow with it and I forget myself. But the moment sorrow comes, I say, why am I sorrowful? Why is there pain? Why is there conflict? Why am I sad? Today's spirituality is based on the exposure to pain. If we look at the primal guru who has come first, Gautam Buddha, is triggered by facing pain. A prince goes out of his house after decades of living in an insulated environment, meets illness, old age and death. And he's shaken to his core. He says, if this is the end of life, then there is no life. Then there is no happiness. It's all this pain only. And he leaves his entire environment to go and seek a solution to this. So the first foundation of Buddhism is that life is pain. Life is dukkha. And the reason for dukkha is trishna, desire. And the way out of desire is nirvana. And then the story of nirvana starts. Freedom, seeking freedom from all my conditioning. So the ego we were talking about is like traveling in a boat, crossing a river. I get onto my ego boat, cross the river, leave the ego and go the other side. Life is a journey with the ego. But I have to leave the ego to know life. Ego is a part experience of life. Ego is the changing part of life, the thinking part of life. This I is built on unchanging mind, that which never changes. The canvas of the sky is blue, the clouds are the changing environment. What is it that never changes? Where does that reside? And how do I seek that? That search lies at the inner core of our lives. Every one of us wants this environment where we are happy forever and unconditionally. Nobody takes away this happiness. So Guru Amar Das in this Bani only will explain to us, Surnar Munjan Amrit Khoj De, so Amrit Gurte Paya. So leaving this ego environment is not possible by the ego itself. Rajbir Singh is an ego. It was conceived when he was born. The body is part of this ego. Knowledge is part of this ego. The relationships, the society, the environment, everything we know or we want to know has to do with the ego world. And this is a temporary, transient world, not a permanent environment. In the end of life, ego will go, and so will all the conditioning go away. All the conditioning will be gone so the ego is not permanent. What will remain of the ego? Nothing will remain of this ego. Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj in the Zafarnama asked Aurangzeb, where is Babur? Where is Humayun? Kuja Babar, Kuja Humayun ast. Where are they gone? Kuja, where are they? The ego is gone. The person is gone. Everything is gone with it. There are only two possibilities in the end of life. One is the shredding of the ego, whoever I am. I'm Amrit Singh or Amrit Kaur. End of life, Amrit Kaur is gone. There is no more Amrit Kaur, the conditioning is gone. What remains is only the baggage. Mostly all the pain. We carry a huge amount of baggage in our souls, our spirits, our mind. All the incomplete enneagrams of life are carried in the man. Maharaj says, Sant janam har jas gayo, kot janam ke dukh gavayo, kot janam ke dukh gavayo. Pain rests in the mind, and there is what our uneasiness, restlessness, our inability to focus, dhyan, has to do with this baggage which we carry. We don't know what baggage our man carries. We can know it if we go into our man. So Kabir says, "Is man ko koi khojo pai." Search this mind. Tan chute man kahan samai? When the body goes, where does the mind go? What is the nature of this mind? That has everything to do with our search of Anand, our knowing Anand. And when we traverse through the Shabads of Guru Amar Das, the third Nanak, about this experience of Anand. And Anand is an experience which is forever. It cannot be taken away from you once it is with us. That Anand which is with us forever and which cannot be taken away is a very powerful experience because it is absolute. The nature of this person who has known this Anand is not dependent on the physical anymore. It is a very powerful thing. So you see that individuals who are martyred, we have so many examples. Guru Arjan Sahib is put on a tatti tavi and he is not feeling the pain because he is not the body. Who feels the pain? The pain is felt by the man. The body is attached to the man, it feels the pain. When it goes through an experience of pain in the body, it's felt in the man. But if I am not the body, then where does the pain go? Then there is no pain. The environment which is managed by the sadhu is the man environment, the inner environment of the mind. That environment which doesn't change. And where does this lie, Maharaj? It lies within us. It lies in the unchanging part of life, which we have not known, but we know in our sleep, unconsciously. Jagrat Supan Sokhopat Turiya. The fourth stage of sleep, where there is no REM, there is no random eye movement. There is complete rest. The mind goes away, completely vanishes. There is no signal in the man. Whenever we are dreaming, there is a signal in the brain. The electrical signal, very feeble but can be read, and today's machines read them accurately. But they say for some time, few minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes, the mind's gone. It's completely vanished. There is no signals. Where does it go? It goes into Turiya. This is the energy moment of life. This is where we are energized in sleep. We know it unconsciously. But sadhu wants to know it consciously. That's the difference between the sadhu's experience of life and our experience of life. He consciously goes into Turiya. He consciously leaves the ego and transcends it. The moment you transcend the ego, all your baggage, pain, sorrow, everything is gone. So, one step away in the man, one step away from our pain, sorrow, tragedies, errors, one step away lies perfection. And it doesn't depend on what right or wrong I've done. Often enough, we always relate everything in life to karam. Karam is the action. Karam has two different origins. One origin of this word karam is to do with the Persian. In Persia, the karam means grace, gur parsaad, kirpa, nadar. And in Sanskrit, it means action, doing. On the Walden Pond, Henry David Thoreau goes away for some years from his life, gives up everything, goes and lives on a pond, grows his own vegetables, goes home for once in 2-3 months to wash his clothes, lives alone by himself and meditates. He records everything he is going through. There's a book he wrote on the Walden Pond. 2 words come out from the experience of this inner mind, the doing and the being mind, the action mind and the being mind which never changes. The ability to transcend this ego while we live, the ego which will be gone at death, the ego which we will give up when we die, can be consciously given up in the spiritual life with certain amount of kirpa and understanding and practice and attitude. And that attitude makes us transcend this ego. So we die while we live. We die as well as we live it. We can go back to that ego world and live it, yet be free of it. So we have both these possibilities. This is the trick which is related to Anand. Let me explain this with some other idioms which come into being from the yogic tradition. 500 years ago in India, there were 3 religions which were known: Hindu, Muslim and the Yogi. Yogi was not the Hindu at that time. It was yogic tradition came separately. In the Guru Granth Sahib, it's separately mentioned very often. Trikuti, which is now known as the third eye. Trikuti is the place where we rest our ego mind. If we are able to do dhyan, then our dhyan will go ultimately at our Trikuti, which is the third eye. The other day I was trying to observe someone's session and they were arguing with me that that's not true, that Trikuti. But Trikuti comes from the yogic tradition. Whatever tradition anything comes from, life's basic paradigm and building blocks will be the same. They will be named differently. There will be a body, there will be a man, there will be an experience of the man, if it is known. So the Trikuti is the place where our ego's borderline. If we can do dhyan, then our dhyan will go up to the Trikuti only, not beyond it. And the Trikuti is here at the middle of the eye. So if a yogi is sitting in dhyan, he will go into the Trikuti naturally, which they call Kundalini. They have different names. That's irrelevant what name you call it. The experience is the same for everyone. How you open that door to go to the Trikuti differs. The attitude of the yogi and Guru Nanak's approach and the Buddhist approach is different paradigms. But the gate is the same. A Buddhist approaches it in a certain way, yogi approaches it in a different way, Guru Nanak approaches it in a different way. But they all go to the Trikuti and beyond it. We cannot go beyond the Trikuti in our ego man. We have to drop the man. We have to drop the thought. So in the Guru Granth Sahib, a very beautiful saying, he says, "Kyon Gurbin Trikuti should see." Why? How will you drop the Trikuti without the Guru? The Guru has to transcend. A very beautiful Bhagat from Namdev. I often quote his Shabad. Nar te sur hoye jaat nimuk mein, satgur budh sikhlai. Within a flash of an eyelid. Nimuk is the flash of an eyelid. He says, within the flash of an eyelid, I was born a nar, a human being, and I became a devta, sur. This is the Trikuti. He left the Trikuti. Instantly, the Guru leaves it. Guru's presence makes us leave this Trikuti. And you will see, when we go ahead in this Bani of Anand, it has 40 Pauris, each Pauri meaning step. And each step explaining something more about life. And he will explain. In fact, this is the one Bani where he also talks about the Dasam Dwar. Where there is Maha-Anand. He says, where I am living in Maha-Anand, unconditional Maha-Anand. I could be in tattered clothes. I could not be fed maybe. I would be hungry physically. It does not matter. Maha-Anand is an experience open to those who have met their Guru, who is perfect Guru. Pure Gurte naam paa-i-aa. The Guru, who is complete, gives us a new life beyond the ego. Satgur ke jan mein gaman mitaya. And a wandering ceases. So if you really want to know who is the Guru, you can never know until you are yourself wakened. Because we don't know who are those people who have the ability to make us transcend the ego. Bulle Shah, in one of his poetry, says, Na main namazan padhiyan, na main chaliye katte, na main ganga naya. Bulle Shah nu murshid milya, unhe aime ja bakshaya. He says, I didn't go for namaz, I didn't go for hajj, I didn't go to Ganga, I did nothing. I met a perfect Guru, I met the murshid. And he saved me, aime ja bakshaya. He made me transcend my ego. Inayat Hussain was the Guru of Bulle Shah. And he danced to Kanjri Baniya. The words he used was Kanjri Baniya, mein izzat katdi nahi. I don't feel I will dance for my Guru. I have to please my Guru. He learned dancing to go and please his Guru because he was angry with him. What I'm trying to say is that the concept of Guru, which Guru Amar Das opens in the beginning of the chapter, he hits the nail on the head. Anand pe hai meri maa-ay, satguroo mein paya. I found my Guru, I found Anand. When the Guru is pleased, Satgur miliye. The Maha-Anand of life opens. Maha-Anand is unconditional Anand. To get Maha-Anand, we nurture the inner environment. We nurture the thoughtless man. And we don't wander, seek. We don't get desperate. We be restful and patient. We take our choices and wait for the results. We don't push them. Being patient, santok, gives us stability. And stability is the key for opening the inner door. Without a stable mind, we can never transcend the ego because we are not there. Who will the Guru attend to? My mind is wandering. The meeting between me and my Guru has to happen in the man. Satgur ke jan mein gaman mitaya. He gives me a new life away from my ego life. And the other thing which Guru does, Pure Gurte Naam Paya Jaye. Naam is the gift of the Guru. What is Naam? Is the egoless state of mind, where I am not, where the ego is not, where there are no thoughts. But I have known a relaxed mind, a mind which feels love and joy together, which is not fearful, which is loving and not fearful. Even the fear of death doesn't exist in this mind. This is the backdrop of this Bani of Anand, the Bani of the complete Maha-Anand of life, the experience of life. Meeting my Guru, I get this Anand. Narte sur hoy jaat nimukh mein satgur buddh sikhlai. Jin manaste devte ki kartana lagi var. From the human become devta. Who does this? Guru. And what is our attitude of life? Our attitude is not seeking a Guru. Our attitude is I know. I don't need anyone. Nanak Guru na chetani, man apne suchet. My mind is all aware. I know everything. Chute tilbo arjo sunji andar khet. Like the til, the plants of the sesame, which gets rotten their own field. The ego mind rots with the body itself. It doesn't transcend death. It can't transcend death. And the baggage of karam will go with that seed of life into its journey. And where will the journey go? We don't know. We don't know where the next time it will drop, what will happen. There's a hukam defining all creation, and it is not built on individualism. It is built on complete justice. So as we do, so we shall reap. And that is what happens to us when we live through life, unknowingly imagining we are okay, we will be taken care of. And we write in the Facebook when someone passes away, is full of rest and peace. There is no rest and peace in death unless the mind is sorted before death. There is a guaranteed wandering after death if the mind is not sorted in this life. Guaranteed wandering. Because the mind doesn't know anything. It has no anchoring. Thamme koi na sadh bin. Nobody becomes stationary without knowing the stable mind. And we don't know stable mind. We don't know thirman. Then how we will be resting in peace? We will rest in desire. We will seek. Even in death, we will be desperate to find that identifications of ourselves which we have defined in the conditioned mind. And that will be the pain of life. What we have earned in this life is what we will live with. And the other possibility is that if the inner door is opened, then Maha-Anand is opened, the person has already died while living, in a way. He has already experienced death of the ego while living. So he or she has found a life, a paradigm beyond the body. And where does that live? We start with the second Shabad, second Pauri today. I think I've given enough of a backdrop. Now we will meet Guru Amar Das, the third Guru Nanak. Place is Goindwal. It's a lovely location. 3 gurus are related to Goindwal. And the seeds of the creation of the Darbar Sahib, which people know as Golden Temple, was sown in Goindwal by the orders of Guru Amar Das. Langar was started by Guru Amar Das. women empowerment was done by Guru Amar Das. So many beautiful traditions were started by this aged Guru, who 83 years of his life. For 12 years he carried a water urn for Guru Angad Sahib's bathing in the morning. He'll go to the river, carry it on his back for 12 years. He did this tap and seva. And a beautiful story, katha about his life. One of these nights, in the middle of the darkness, Guru fell. And while he was falling, they say he didn't care for his body. He cared for his water, Guru's water. He cared for the urn he was carrying. This is an example of how a person goes beyond the body. Bade. His dhyan is not in his body. It's gone beyond. And people would call him Amaru Nithama, because he was living in his in-laws' house now and serving the Guru. Left his own identity. So see, the identity is gone. The ego is gone. And every year, Guru Angad gave him a sirepao, a piece of cloth of honor, which he might be giving to many Sikhs. And 13 of them were given to him. So before he gave him Guruship, Guru Angad asked him, I gave you 13 sirepaus. Where are they? And he was carrying them in his head. All 13 of them he tied on his head. And he made him count all the 13. It's not the cloth. It's not the counting. It's the Gur Prasad which I did not waste away. The kirpa of the Guru was always nurtured positively. That is the message. I was never in denial. Never in 13 years did I say, I am not your Sikh now, which we all say every day. We don't know how to manage our inner environment. Our egos are very strong. Our whole life experience depends on the ego principle. And Guru Amar Das makes him count the 13 of them. And then he was blessed with 13 powers. Nithameyan di thao, neotiyan di ot, nipatyan di pat, nigatyan di gat. Guru Amar Das and was visited by Akbar also. And he created the concept of pehle pangat, pache sangat. First meet, sit in one line. There was one way of transcending the caste system, the rich-poor crystal social paradigms, and make them one. First sit in pangat in one line and eat together and then come to me. That's the concept of how langar was created. Eat together as one. Accept that there is no divisions in society. And only then I will meet you. Pehle pangat, pache sangat. Then I will do sangat. So in many ways, Guru Amar Das's life journey as a guru was immensely loving, full of love. There is, even if you go to Goindwal even now, they have a nail in the wall which he used to hold when he did his tap. And then the Guru Amar Das grandson was Guru Arjan. And in his life, Guru Amar Das said, Dohe bani ka boy tha. My grandson. Grandson is the ocean of Bani. And Guru Arjan created the Guru Granth Sahib. He composed, compiled, nurtured Bani. Sukhmani Sahib. Dohe Bani ka boy tha. And when the Pandits who are who created poetry for the Gurus, he says, Teh Janmat Gurmat Brahm Pachanyo. From birth he was a Brahm Gyani, Guru Arjan. Teh Janmat Gurmat Brahm Pachanyo. Kal Bhatt is the name of that poet. These were the Pandits. In the Guru Granth is the Shudra, the Pandit, the Khatri, everyone is together. There is no divisions for the Guru Granth, is all one. Those who have realized the Guru, they don't have any caste, they are the same. Bhagavad Das is considered a Shudra, Chamar. He sits equally as empowered as the other Gurus themselves with their bani. Maharaj, we will read through the second Pauri and then we will explain, talk about what Guru Sahib is saying. Anudeep ji, sorry.
Vaheguru ji. ए मन मेरे तू सदा रहो हर नाले, हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे, दुख सब विसारना, अंगीकार ओ करे तेरा, कारज सब सवारना, सबना गला समरथ स्वामी, तो क्यों मनो विसारे, कह नानक मन मेरे, सदा रहो हर नाले। ए मन मेरेया तू सदा रहो हर नाले, हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे, दुख सब विसारना, अंगीकारो करे तेरा, कारज सब सवारना, सबना गला समरथ स्वामी, तो क्यों मनो विसारे, कह नानक मन मेरे, सदा रहो हर नाले। वाहिगुरु जी।
Thank you, Maharaj. So the environment in the physical world, when we nurture our lives, we look after and do what we want. We look after the external environment of life. But when we seek Anand, we nurture the inner environment of life, the man. The whole experience of spirituality will be played out in the mind, in the man. And if we look after our inner environment, the Sufis called it the 11th direction. If we look after our inner environment, then we go inwards. Our life becomes less and less dependent on the external environment. Maharaj says, "Eh man mereya." He is addressing his man constantly. The whole play of Anand, of spirituality, of life, is going to happen in our minds. And we play this game of life in our mind, so to say. Everything has happened, or happening, or will happen in our man. All its conclusions, all the sukh, dukh, happiness, sorrow, good, bad, right, wrong, all the ugly and the nice aspects all live together in our man. Maharaj says, "Eh man," he addresses the man, "Eh man mereya, tu sada raho har nale." You always remain with the Creator, with your source man. Whoever has created you, the Har, remain with him always. Har naal rahe tu man mere, dukh sab visarna. How do I remain with the Creator? What is the way? I don't have any picture, a book. I don't have any shape or form. They say the Creator is formless, nameless. He doesn't have any defined parameters. Then how I will be with her? How I will remember the Creator? How will I do this? That's the key to this whole experience. Maharaj says in this, Simran is your key. Simran is memory, remembering. But even before I remember, I have to first open the inner experiences of the man, and they happen through what is the name of the first bani of a Guru Granth Sahib, Jap Ji. Ji is the honor and Jap is the method. Jap. Jap man Satnam, Sada Satnam. Halat palat mukh ujal hoi hai. The life here and beyond, both are exalted. There in this third line, he says, Jai har simran pe ato paad gat kini. When jap becomes simran, when I have now got a wind of the inner mind, when I know now who my creator is not so far away, when I have now got a wind of my inner mind, Jai har simran pe, then the dissection of the mind will start happening. The upad gat kini, the healing will start happening. Maharaj says that you have to be with Hari all the time by being in a jap. And how do I do the jap? Guru Nanak Sahib gives a method. Gaviye suniye. By submerging the senses mind with the Shabad. Shabad is the Jugat. So in any tradition, there will be Jot and Jugat. Jot is the goal, Jugat is the method. Guru Granth, that is the Jot. And the method is Jugat, is Shabad. And how do I experience this Shabad? By focusing the mind away from the senses mind into the Shabad mind. Gaviye suniye, man rakhiye pao. So fill your senses with Shabad. Sing it with love. The key to spirituality is love. Paakya pao apar. Gaviye suniye, man rakhiye pao. Suniye maniye man kita pao. 4 to 5 places, even 6 I think. In the Japji itself he mentions love. Pao khala agan taptao, panda pao amrit tal. The real utensil which will carry the amrit of life is made out of love, not fear. So sing the Shabad with love. Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pao. And make your love within the man find its expression in the Shabad. The Shabad is Amrit. But a necessary aspect of this is there is no wandering mind. Er and mat ved hatyar. 38th Pauri of the Japji, he concludes this, that the stable mind is mandatory. And the wavering mind will not experience the inner spirituality. Maharaj says, Har naal raho tu man mere, dukh sab vis. And what will happen, Maharaj? When I do Simran, when I do Jap, dukh sab visarna. All my pain will go away. All my sorrow will go away. Ik-oNkaar kare tera, karaj sab savarna. Not one task, not one thing. My project of work or my children's life. We have so many projects in our life. He says, first thing it will do is, it will take away your pain and sorrow. Dukh sab visarna. You will forget it. There will be no pain in your life. This is the paradigm of the man, not outside world. You will find an inner mind where there is no pain and sorrow. And Ik-oNkaar, and it will nurture you. Ik-oNkaar, nurture you. Oh kare tera. Karaj sab savarna, and it will take care of all your tasks. All your tasks. Now there is 2 ways of looking at this aspect, all your tasks. One is that it will do away with everything. I don't even need a glass of water. The other is that I am seeking happiness. And I have found it unconditionally. And that enraptures the whole experience of life. If what I have needed, I have found, and it is permanently with me and it cannot be taken away, my hunger for seeking goes away because I have already found what I'm looking for. I don't no longer go hunting and seeking, so the wandering goes away. And the other thing it does, it completes me. I don't have that incompleteness anymore, that I want something which will complete me. That which I am seeking is found within me. हीरे जैसा जन्म है, कोडी बदले जाए. Life is like a diamond. And that one thing which we are all seeking, which is at the core of our search, our wandering of life, is found by meeting the Guru. And then this Shabad, this Jap, Ik-oNkaar oh kare tera, karaj sab savarna. All your tasks will be done. All the tasks, because this life anyway is not a permanent life. The ending of this life has two possibilities. One is we go away in the ego paradigm and the ego gets shredded and the life takes new form and shape. Kar tar fir thaki bahtere, jaat asankant nahi mere. So many doors, kar, houses, dar, fir, wandering, thaki, tired. I am tired of wandering through so many lifetimes. Jaat asank, so many forms, infinite forms. Ant nahi mere, no end is to the wandering of the human soul, is to the wandering of the pain of life. Ik-oNkaar ho kare tera, karaj sab savarna. And it takes care of everything. Every task, sab, everything is taken care of. Sabna gala samrat swami. The Creator is capable of everything, of infinite possibilities. So kyo mano bisare? Do not forget him in your man. The core of spiritual life is this jap, dhyan, of Shabad, of living this experience of our inner spirituality, and that rests at the core, Maharaj. Like we are breathing, jap becomes like that. Involuntary, always going on. Kahe Nanak man mere, and he reinforces. Nanak, he says, here Nanak is saying, is with Ik-oNkaar, Kahe Nanak man mere sada rahe har naal. Sada is a very empowered word. Never take it lightly. He uses it in the first line and again in the last line. That means transcending death, transcending time, space and cause. E man mereya, tu sada raho har naale. Kahe Nanak man mere sada raho har naale. Always remain with the Creator inside you. Dhyan. Always have that road, that naam. Always be refreshed in his focus of the Nirakar. God is not a photo. God is not an idol. Hak sach khalak khalak mein aane, shyam murat na hai. So this is the second Pauri of the Anand Sahib, Guru Amar Das. This Bani has 40 Pauris, every one of them empowered and every one of them resounding in the Tat Gyan. Guru Amar Das has these words are his favorite words, Tat Gyan. The Gyan of, at the root of life, Tat. Maha-Anand. Guru Amar Das gifts us with Maha-Anand. Unconditioned happiness, absolute happiness, absolute life, with no errors, no faults, no pains, no sorrows. And where does it live? He tells us that also. Man, in the man, in our mind, not in our ego. So today's session we can conclude, but if you have any questions, if you want to say something, want to ask something, you can raise your hand, we will unmute you, or you can write it out. There is a chat box out there, you can write it out also. And we can discuss whatever points you want to raise. Otherwise, we have a tradition, we end the session with the bani of the 6 paudis of Anand Sahib, which are sung at the end of every congregation in Sikhism, whether it is a sorrow or a happy occasion. Because life is Anand at the core, not at the transient. We have some new people, maybe. If you have any questions, any of you would want to say something. Otherwise, Anudeep will help us with Anand Sahib. We have a session coming up on the 21st of this month on Dhyan, on this game of the man, the Dhyan of the man. So if you are interested, you please message Indrajit, or you can write in the chat box. It will be in South Delhi somewhere in the evening. We have put the timing somewhere in the afternoon, and we will get back to you on the place, on the venue, if you are interested. So I don't think there are any questions or anybody wants to say something. Ji Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Next week, the 3rd and 4th paudi, hopefully 2 paudis together. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you, Maharaj.